Okay, so I told you guys that we would eventually go back and revisit some of the older applications that I have covered here on my channel for making money online. So we're going to do just that today. And I want to mention, guys, if you're not ready to sit down and actually watch this video, it's going to be a longer video. I mentioned we would do videos that covered anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes of how you work with an application, the quirks of the application, what it does throughout the year, how you can get it to work as well as possible, and how you can get it to earn overall as well as possible. So this is going to be a long video. We'll mention that right here at the start of this, and today we're going to talk about APPTRAILERS. Now, I feel like this is one of the best applications for making money online, so we're just going to hop right into that review itself and get started now, because this is going to take a second, guys.
Have you been looking for easy ways to make money online? Welcome to eCash Society. Bitcoin talk, mining rig tutorials, and paying smartphone applications all in one location.
Alright, so Cash Apps Revisited. I have wanted to get to this for quite some time now. I'm glad that we're finally here, and there's literally no better place that we could possibly start here other than right here at what I like to call the finish ads. So we have a lot to get into in this video. If you're not ready to sit here and learn, then this is definitely not the video for you. It's going to take some time to go over all of the content that we have to in this video, but we're going to start right here with these finish ads. So I like to go over the complications that you have with these applications whenever you're trying to earn. Now, APPTRAILERS is one of the best paying applications for making money, but right here, this is one of the difficulties that you are going to have whenever you're trying to make money with this app. So if you can see, you've got these two-stage ads. Now, some of the two-stage ads can be lengthy, and whenever I say lengthy, they can be around 30 seconds for each ad that you have to get past. Now, in this case, the majority of the time you will see that they're around 15 seconds a piece, which is really, it's not too bad to have to wait 15 seconds and then, you know, just to be able to earn again, especially whenever you're earning the amount of points that you're earning. So the one thing that I want to do, though, after showing you guys a little bit of what to expect with some of the complications, is go back to the very beginning of the app and show you exactly how you use it to be able to earn, and then your options while you're in this application to be able to earn. What are all of your options to earn and earn quickly? So I'm going to show you what I like to use, and we will start with that right here. I'm going to exit the app really quick. We're going to have one that's set up so we can just review. So the complications that you'll see with APPTRAILERS. Number one is these finish ads. They are probably the most frustrating thing that you could possibly deal with whenever trying to make some money, is having to go through those ads. But right after that, immediately, are these loading circles that you will see that it makes it seem like you're currently about to watch another advertisement, but in fact it's actually a fake loading circle that will load endlessly over and over and over again. And now this is just my experience of what I'm having with APPTRAILERS. Your experience may be something completely different in your area. So also, I have noticed that sometimes these advertisements will literally freeze. You'll have it pause on a specific advertisement, and you know, this will happen even if you have a really decent internet connection. I have actually, I'm telling you, I've tested this application out as fully as possible. Right now, we are doing just that. I only have these phones going for APPTRAILERS right now, and I have tested it throughout the course of so many days to be able to bring you this information, and I know that this application will still freeze even on a fantastic internet connection. You'll still have it freeze. So whenever you have a situation like the application freezing, you can wait a moment, and most of the time it will go back to playing that advertisement, and you will go back to earning points. It does take a second for it to go back into effect, and you could go ahead and exit the application. I don't really recommend doing that. The only time I recommend that you exit APPTRAILERS to be able to earn is whenever it is like fully frozen past like 30 seconds, it's still frozen, whenever you have those fake loading circles, or possibly you could consider exiting the app and restarting it whenever you have your finish ads pop up. I've noticed that if you do that, it is still going to show that finish ad very, very quickly. So it makes more sense for you to just go through the steps of the advertisement itself to be able to get your points. And sometimes when you do that, the finish ads will go away for a decent amount of time, so you don't have to keep doing it back to back. Now, whenever Perk is limiting what they're paying people, I have noticed that those finish ads will come up back to back to back to back. They endlessly come up, which forces you to babysit this application at all times to be able to earn. And then they lower the amount of points that you can earn. So let's talk about very quickly exactly what you want to do with this. Is going to be the ultimate guide for this application. You're not going to find a better guide online for AppTrailers and how you can earn with it. So a few different things to note here with complications as well is you do have some of these exit ads right here that will say they'll stay stuck on the screen. You'll also see that loading down here will sometimes freeze. In the case that it freezes and it stays frozen for a second, that is exactly when you want to exit the application and restart the application. So let's come over here though very quickly to how you earn with this application. I talked about this previously in another video about AppTrailers, about how whenever you go to touch the screen, it will automatically load things that you really didn't want it to load. So that's kind of frustrating in itself. It forced me, you can see it just now forced me into where I'm in the quiz area. So we're going to back out of that, and then it should just let you back out of it. I don't know why they have to make it so complicated. Like, just let us back out of that and go back to what we were really trying to do. So in the watch video section, you've got a couple of different options here. Now, as far as like if you are okay with babysitting this application, you have your rapid review section. Now, whenever you watch these rapid reviews, you're going to get the highest amount of points that you possibly can, but you're also going to have to keep managing the application over and over and over again. So this is a way for you to accumulate quite a bit of points very, very quickly, and making it to a high dollar amount that you really need to be able to afford another phone. This would be a great way to do that if you have the time to invest. Let's just say you're the person that stays at home. So I want to show you how I like to earn with this application though. So let's come over here to AppTrailers once again. In fact, I also have noticed that whenever We'll say this, whenever AppTrailers in itself, whenever you're watching advertisements, it'll go through a loop of advertisements and then it ends. And this is one thing to note as well. If you go back to this, if you're stuck at that screen that says watch, you could click watch again, and then it will literally do it back to back to back. So you'll have to exit the app. So what I like to do, and this is how I've really been able to make a decent amount of money by managing this app the right way. Whenever I see that it says watch, I go ahead and I exit the app once again to basically to start it back off on that beginning loop, especially if it's just going to go back to back to back to watch over and over and over again. And you will see that happen sometimes. But let's come back over here. So in your watch video section, once again, you have game videos, you have newest videos, you have do-it-yourself videos, sports videos, funny videos. So what I like to use is the top videos. And the reason that I use this section is because there's a decent amount of videos, and I found that it's less buggy in this area from other areas that you could use in this application. It's less buggy there. Now the game videos is another fairly decent option, but I've noticed that the videos in itself will end somewhat quicker than what it does in the top videos section. So you also have your newest videos. That's another fairly decent one, and the other ones I would not really recommend. If you notice that there's only so many videos here, but there's actually a little bit longer of a loop that plays for each of these. So top videos, this is what has worked out the best for me in my case. So now, as far as redeeming, we definitely need to talk about how you go through redemptions with this application. It used to be back in the day that the points here were converted over to perk points, and they went into your perk account and then you cashed out. But now you do. You have the option to redeem right here within the app itself, which is actually pretty decent. Guys, this is definitely one of these applications that is not extremely passive. So that is one thing to note. If you're looking for a passive application, this is not the app for you. But if you're willing to put the work in with these applications, this is going to be one of your best ways to earn. And I cannot stress that enough. Even with all of the complications that arise with this application, if you put the work in, the effort, you're going to make points very, very quickly. And right around at least $1 to $1.50 a day off of 5 phones. So you can't beat that. Whenever it comes to phone farming, if you've been doing this for a while, you know that that's actually really not all that bad. So we've discussed basically how you have all of these errors with APPTRAILERS. If you notice that like these are taking a really long time to sit here and load, and I have noticed that sometimes they will take quite some time just to load into the next video. The big thing to mention here, and I really need to go in depth with this, is throughout the month you will have like 1 to 2, maybe even more stages with this application where all of the errors, the bugs that I just mentioned to you will pop up more frequently. So in that scenario, you have 2 different options here. The one thing that you want to consider is possibly during that time period, which usually lasts between 1 to 4 days, 1 to 3 days, somewhere in that area. I've seen it only be possibly 2 days at a time where it's having major issues. And during that time, you want to possibly consider one of 2 things. Either A, switching over to a different application for you to be able to make some better money. You could switch these over to a passive scenario like Lotto, or I really recommend that you keep Rewardable TV going 24/7 on 7 to 8 phones. But that is an option. You could switch it over to Rewardable as well if you don't have many phones to work with. So guys, this is it's one of those applications where it's give and take. You will see some issues with the application, but for the most part, it's a sound paying application. So yeah, there's really not very much else to discuss as far as working with this application. Like I said, whenever it has those buggy moments, you can either press through that scenario and try to earn as best as you possibly can with the application, and you'll still see points go into your account, even on those days where you're waiting for it to go back to working smoothly. You will still see points go into your account, but sometimes it will drop down to next to 0 points that you're actually making. So it's just up to you whether you want to put the effort in or switch over to another application to be able to earn some more successfully. So I think a lot of people, they think that phone farming is this very passive thing they can do. They can set up the phones and they leave them alone and they'll make all of this money, and that is exactly why I'm doing these videos. I want you guys to know that there's a lot of work that's involved with this. There can be very little work if you set it up a very specific way, but the amount of money that you will make in that scenario is less than what you would if you were putting in that extra effort. So let's talk about redeeming really quickly. You can see that, of course, Perk has tons of ways that you can redeem. Now, if I had to give you my overall opinion of where you should redeem at, I would say either Amazon or go straight for PayPal. Now, this is one thing to really mention here. I've heard a lot of people have issues whenever they go to apply for, let's come back here. You can see that this app is fairly buggy. So we're having issues loading, of course. So let's talk about this. Get cash. With Perk Plastic, I've heard that whenever people set up this Perk Plastic, it's led them, whenever they're actually making a decent amount of money. I'm so glad I'm doing this video. Whenever they're actually making a decent amount of money, they have been banned. So if you're making a lot of money off of Perk and they're actually having to pay you cash, I think that they're more quick to look at you and say, you know what, this guy's making too much. So he doesn't need to be in this company. He needs to be banned. So I would say overall that you really just want to steer clear of Perk Plastic, and they may not be happy with me for saying that because I'm sure that they make some sort of money out of this scenario by sending out these debit cards. I'm sure there's some way that they're making money there, but if you're going to ban people for something that you're offering and then they actually are using these applications and making decent money, it's a little bit of an insult to us. So let's come over here to buy gift cards. If it's actually gonna, this is one thing I've noticed, it will stay stuck sometimes, but it loaded, thank God. Amazon is probably your best way to cash out with perk. And the reason that I say that is because you can take one, you'll get a really decent amount of points to be able to get these Amazon gift cards, and then you can take the gift cards and invest them in quite a few different things, or if you really wanted to, you could sell them. So if you find a decent person that really is looking for Amazon gift cards, you could sell them and get a decent cut out of it. Now the one thing to mention alongside of that is PayPal. So you take a cut whenever you cash out to PayPal with perk. Everybody knows that. But it's kind of give and take. I like to cash out for Amazon for this reason alone, and I've mentioned it in previous videos. I can take that money and I can invest it into purchasing hardware for cryptocurrency, and at the end of the day, I will have something to sell. So this is basically my free stuff whenever in life. Whenever I want something for free, if I wanted furniture, if I wanted clothes, if I needed something for as far as household products, I go to perk for that. Now there's other applications that I would recommend for being able to earn cash if you're looking for just cash. So I think that perk is probably the best application for Amazon that you could possibly find. And guys, this is the best guide that you're going to find online for APPTRAILERS. If you're getting some major use out of this video, if it's teaching you these things that you needed to know before even going into this application, if there's a few things that I possibly missed, you can mention those things down below. You know, I feel like I've covered everything that you could possibly want to. If you look at here's one, rotate your device. But even if you rotate your device, it's not loading. Now I've noticed that sometimes this will go away on its own. If you leave it alone for so much time, it may go away on its own. If it doesn't go away on its own, of course this is a scenario where you would exit the app. So there's all of these little quirks with this application, but whenever you run it the way it's supposed to be ran, then when you run it the way it's supposed to be ran, it will work exactly how you need it to as far as making money. You'll make some decent money. But guys, once again, if you got some decent information out of this video, definitely hit me up with that thumbs up, and you definitely want to subscribe. I'm going to go into further depth with all of these applications. We're going to revisit them. We're going to show you exactly how you want to work with this application. And yeah, there's some very great information that's along the way here. And I can't wait to get back with you for more information for making money online with smartphones and computers.